Well, guys, we made it. It's finally maybe real, I guess. So today a leak came out that the Elder Scrolls 4 Oblivion is finally actually possibly real. We still don't know for sure if it's super true, but we had an insider leak apparently that released some images of the game. Originally, this is a new photo. Originally, I think this is fan created. I can't tell for sure. But the things that did officially come out were these pictures here. As you can see, this is the original Oblivion in 2006. As soon as you come out of the sewers, you can kind of see like the little ruins that you can go and investigate in the early game. And then over here, you're going to see the 2025 version, or what appears to be the 2025 version of Elder Scrolls 4. And I keep saying apparently because I don't know if these are real or not. I don't know if this is like a mod. And I think this is 99% absolutely the Oblivion remaster, remakester, whatever they're calling it. But I have to stay skeptical because Oblivion is a really big deal. It's a big deal to me. It's a big deal to a lot of people that grew up in this 2006 period where the 360 was fresh. And it was, for me, I was 10 going on 11 years old when the Xbox 360 came out, and that I want to say November of 2005, full year before the 360, or I'm sorry, the PS3 and the Wii came out. So I have a lot of, fond memories of Oblivion. When I was a kid, before Oblivion came out was Morrowind, which was the third Elder Scrolls game, and that came out as a launch title, I believe. I don't remember if it was a launch title or not for the original Xbox, the Duke. And my brother, he's 10 years older than me, and he's the reason I God bless him, he's the reason I'm into video games and into RPGs as much as I am. If it weren't for him, having me over at his place with him and his roommate, watching them play Oblivion and them letting me play sometimes, if it weren't for that, I wouldn't be who I am today. And that's something that when I see an Oblivion, when I see anything Elder Scrolls predating Skyrim, predating Fallout 4, excuse me, I get excited. I get super excited. And there have been these just pestering rumors over the last maybe like 6 months, I'd say. I mean, it might even be longer, but I started hearing about it recently, about 6 months ago. There might be a shadow drop of this, there might be a shadow drop of that, Oblivion this, Oblivion that, Oblivion remake. That's what everybody's been saying. It's a remake. I never believed that if Bethesda, let's just say, or Microsoft, whoever is in charge there now, I don't believe that if it were a remake, they would shadow drop it. I just don't see it. They would announce it. It would be a big deal because it would be them pretty much saying, hey, we need some time before Elder Scrolls 6 and have fun. We've been working on this on the side. Obviously, we still don't know if Bethesda is like officially working on this or not. I mean, I'm sure it's in Bethesda's like their ballpark. I doubt the people that are working on Elder Scrolls 6 are even touching this game. It's probably like I wouldn't say a blooper team situation because the Silent Hill 2 remake was a remake. Like that was like full on. That's a new game. I don't think this Oblivion, whatever this is a remaster in my opinion. And that's not just because I saw this little piece of art here. It's because they wouldn't shadow release a remake. They just wouldn't. And to me, this is, if this is like real, this is what I expect. Like, I like this. This is the kind of, I don't know about you guys. I'm really into these kind of remakesters, like that's kind of what I call these. I think there's a huge difference between each of the words. There's so many different like ways of saying like remake, remaster, these companies, they use so many different like just like words to like kind of convince you to buy things. And I think remake and remaster are the easiest things to say. I wish they would call something like this a definitive edition, because I would assume that if they're calling it a remaster, I call remasters the 60 FPS things, like where they upped it to 4K or 1080. And then they just update the engine. The graphics look a lot nicer, more modern and everything. Obviously, it's a new engine, it looks like, obviously. Whether that's like, I don't know how their engines work at Bethesda, but like depending on like what engine they're on right now with Elder Scrolls 6, this looks like it might be a variation of that, or maybe we haven't seen gameplay of 6, so we don't know. But I'm convinced that this is like a current engine, and it's probably going to run at 60 FPS. Of course, that's the standard 1080 or 4K. I'm sure it'll be a 4K enhanced game. This is what I imagine a remaster should be. This is a definitive edition, in my opinion. When you release a game, because I think this is going to be identical to Oblivion. I think I think some of the glitches will be fixed a little bit, but like for the most part, I think the engine, like the game itself, is going to still feel like that Oblivion stiffness a little bit. But I think they'll update the UI. I think they'll obviously up the graphics, make the graphics look like a new engine, like this does. You know, the ruins look completely different. I wish these photos were more spot on. He's kind of looking way to the left of the ruins in the previous photo, but whatever. Yeah, this to me, I don't think there's going to be any other major updates to this. This to me is a definitive edition. You know, this is what that would be. But obviously they're not going to call it definitive edition because I'm sure definitive edition doesn't sell as well as remaster, remake, you know, re-up, whatever they want to call it. The re is really what makes the idiots jump to these games. And I'm not saying you're an idiot if you buy these games, because I buy remasters and remakes and everything. I don't think this is going to be any more than what we're seeing here, though. You know, I don't think there's going to be updated like combat. You know, they're not going to add a VAT system or something. You know, like I don't think any of that's going to happen. They're not going to add dual wielding. I don't think when it comes, you know, like Skyrim style. I think this is a one for one. You know, and that's what I think it is. And I think that's what remaster means. You know, it's we're remastering it, even though it should say definitive. This is in their terms. This is just, I think, going to be a graphical overhaul, and then, you know, the dialogue's going to stay the same. The story's going to stay the same. You know, that's a lot of shit to replace, and they wouldn't shadow drop something that they're not spending they're obviously not spending a whole lot of money on this. This is probably something easy to get some money before 6 comes out and then go on from there. Now, the implications, if this is real and if it shadow drops this next week or upcoming week of April, that's awesome. I can't fucking wait. This is going to be amazing. This looks really, really nice. I'm excited. I will jump right back into this game. Between my Breton and my Khajiit, I have over like 900 hours on my 360. I have over 800 hours at least on those characters combined. I miss Cyrodiil. I really do. And this is something right up my alley. This is something I would pay $60 for. This is fine. You know, if that's what it is, just game. If it's just graphically and like, you know, UI, you know, and there's some quality of life, little things changed, fine. But like, I'll pay $60 for it. It's no big deal. That's just how I am. When it comes to a remake, I consider, if you couldn't tell, I consider a remake like Resident Evil 4 remake. That's a remake. Silent Hill 2 remake. That's a remake. You know, like you can tell, like that's like a completely, like everything's changed. You know, like everything about it's changed, except obviously the story is the same. Which that's what made Silent Hill 2's remake so good, is that they kept everything almost 1-to-1. Whereas like Resident Evil 4 remake, I still call it a remake, but like, whereas with like Resident Evil 4, it was like some of the story was a little jumbled, things were taken out, made into DLC, you know, things like that. Whereas Silent Hill 2's remake was like almost 1-for-1. It was almost the exact, like, fucking, you put that up to the original game and it's like the story like coincides with each other, sometimes dialogue too, for the most part. So like, you know, there is a difference in remakes. There's different tiers of remakes, but in the end, there's remakes, there's remasters, and I count as definitive editions as part of remasters. I think that's what this is. And the implications of this, like if it comes out soon, relatively soon, I can't believe they're going to shadow drop it if that's the case, because they're getting us hyped for it if that's the case. You know, they clearly see that people want it. We've been talking about it for the last few months. I hope they do Fallout 3. And honestly, like, let's not get past this game for a second. Like, Knights of the Nine, Shivering Isles, like, are these going to be also in this edition? That would be absolutely amazing. Another thing to support my definitive edition thing as well is like, if this is 1-to-1, you know what I mean? Like, if it is, like, if it's the exact same game, just like with really nice graphics and the FPS is better and all that stuff, this is the definitive edition. This is where you can play the game. We assume everywhere. We assume PS5, you know, Xbox One X, you know, it is a Microsoft quality game, it's a Microsoft produced game. So with their initiative, I'm sure that it'll be on Switch and everything else as well. But as of right now, I assume it's a PC and Xbox game until further notice. But I would love to see Fallout 3. It's the same engine as this Oblivion. I'd love to see if this works out. I want to see that. Absolutely. I would love Fallout 3 and all of its DLC. And if they can get to New Vegas, that'd be cool too. But I love Fallout 3. I want to talk to you guys a little bit about that. I was kind of on Twitter and I found some photos. There's also these photos as well. These were kind of lower in quality. It was kind of hard for me to get them in like really nice, fine HD. But if you're a fan of Oblivion, you can tell this is clearly an upgrade. It really is. Like, even from the low res on these, this is clearly an upgrade when it comes to like the way the game looks. It's just gorgeous, and I'm super excited to see a trailer. I'm assuming I'm going to, if it is shadow drop this week, which I don't think it will be. Like if it is, man, it's gonna blow people away, dude. This trailer is gonna blow people away. If there's a trailer, it's gonna come like tomorrow or the next day, since it's getting a lot of hype right now. Yeah, people originally thought it was gonna be a remake. I assumed it was gonna be a remastered definitive edition, which is fine. If you don't like these games, you don't have to buy them. You know what I mean? Nobody's forcing you to. So just to kind of reinforce like how much Oblivion means to me, I got a little timeline together of my life as a 10-year-old. You know, if you didn't live in that time when the 360 came out, there was all these implications of like the PS3's coming out though, and the Wii's coming out, Twilight Princess, you know, all these things you see in Game Informer. And I was a Game Informer kid, so I was keeping up on this console war. That was where the console war was like crazy for me. You know, I know there was the Nintendo against Sony against Sega type thing back in the 90s, but I grew up with like Nintendo, Xbox, and PlayStation 2 just going at it. You know, that was like my life pretty much. So I had a choice, you know what I mean? I wasn't an online kid yet. I didn't know, I didn't have online stuff. The 360 launched in November of 05. And well, right here, you can see that November of 05. I originally like didn't want a 360. I wanted a Wii. I originally wanted a Wii because I was really big on Zelda, and I still am. But Twilight Princess, you have to admit, when everybody saw that game in the Game Informers and like the trailer for it, you fucking came a little bit because it looks so good. And it was a really good game. It was. I liked it more on GameCube, which I'm glad I had my GameCube for that. But yeah, I almost got a Wii for, you know, and that came out a year later. So I would have had to have hold on to my PS2 and GameCube and just wait for 06 to come around if I was going to get myself a Wii. And my brother was a big Xbox guy. He introduced me to Halo and stuff. And this brother I was talking about earlier, he was big on Morrowind. And I used to watch him play Morrowind quite a bit, like quite a bit. He knew Oblivion was coming. He just didn't know when it was coming. And he knew he was getting a 360. So in my family, we don't have a lot of money. So what we do is we all get a different system and then we share. You know what I mean? That was what we were hoping to be able to do. The 360 came out. He went and got one. He got Condemned. And he also got Perfect Dark Zero. And we were huge on Perfect Dark as kids, you know, Nintendo 64 days. I loved Perfect Dark as a kid, though. And Perfect Dark Zero, we can all admit, was not that great. It was not what we expected from Perfect Dark 2. You know what I mean? So he was disappointed in the launch lineup. They're just Condemned was cool, but, you know, for me as a kid, that scared the shit out of me. Other than that, these launch titles were not like, oh my God, amazing or anything. And I don't know where Dead Rising is, but he also had Dead Rising, which was it was a cool game, but it wasn't like a game that I wanted specifically like right away. I was more so looking at like, oh, Halo's gonna come out for it. That's cool. You know, that's who knows when that's coming out. So when I saw this launch lineup, I was like, yeah, I'm gonna get a Wii next year. I'm getting a Wii. Fuck this shit. You know, this sucks. So my brother and I found out that Oblivion was coming out March 20th, 06. A few months later, as soon as we found that out, boom, I had to get a 360. So I got a 360. I played this game. This was the only game I owned, besides my brother's games that he would borrow sometimes, but like for the most part, I played Oblivion for probably a year straight. I came home nearly every day. My friends and I would play Oblivion. That's what we played. This was the game. Like, this was it, dude. Like, this was like all I played. Like, I swear to God. Like I said, I want to say like just around 1,000 hours between two characters. Like, I played this game so much. And as a kid, you know, when you're 11 years old, like, you have ADHD, so like you'll start a character, you'll get like maybe like halfway through playing as that character, and then you'll just make a new character. And it's like Oblivion's replay value was just top tier, man. It was just so fucking good. So I played that for one whole year. And then Halo 3, man. Halo 3 came out a full year later, or almost a full year later. And from there, it's history. No one cared about the PS3 after that. No one cared about the Wii after that. I forgot all about this bullshit. Halo 3, it began my online just tour. You know, like I was clinically online from this point on when it came to Xbox Live. And I gotta say, the main reason I even had a 360 in the first place, the main reason I even had this 360 was because of Oblivion. And I will forever give this game credit. I will forever give Bethesda credit for pulling me in. Bethesda at one time, they took over like Square. Like, I was a Final Fantasy kid. And I was like, yeah, no, Bethesda's the best. Bethesda's the best. And my brother's like, I told you, man, Oblivion was so good. Or Morrowind was so good, man. I'm telling you, Oblivion, it's so good. I'm telling you, they just keep getting better. And then Fallout 3 came out and I fell in love again. And this was when Bethesda was at their fucking peak. I mean, you could say Skyrim was, but like Oblivion, in my opinion, like maybe a hot take, I don't know. Oblivion's always been a better game to me than, I mean, Skyrim's a better game. It's got more quality to it. Like, you know, it's easier to like pick up and just like enjoy for any character, play style, however you want to play. Oblivion was a role-playing game though. Like this was a game that like you legitimately, it was like Kingdom Come Deliverance, but like not as like strict, I would say. It was more mainstream Kingdom Come Deliverance. And this was where it was at, dude. Like this game was just, oh man. So I just want to talk about this a little bit, give you guys a timeline of who I am and what built me as a human being, as a gamer. It was mostly Oblivion, man. It was mostly Oblivion. And I hope that these are real. I hope that like this leak from the inside is real. I hope this is real. I hope the people behind it have passion for the product, because if they do, then it's not just going to be a simple, oh, 1-to-1 with nicer graphics. Maybe it will be, but it'll feel the right way. It'll feel like this is what I wanted type of remake, or remaster, I should say. But we could talk about this, that, all we want. You know, there's so many different words for these definitive editions. I think this would be a definitive edition if, you know, if we use the correct terminology for things. But everybody's got a different opinion on it. Go and talk about it in the comments if you want to, or whatever you want to do. I'll listen. But regardless, I can't wait. This is Bronzy. I'm out.